Welcome to today's live Google Hangout and video cast. I'm Natalie Ledwell. It's my honor to be your host today for this amazing show. We're going to be talking about the power of the subconscious mind, law of attraction tips, and covering a whole bunch of information. Now, as you probably know, let me just double check to make sure we've technically got everything working okay. All right. So guys, welcome to today's live Google Hangout and video cast, where we're talking about the power of the subconscious mind and law of attraction tips. So very excited to be with you today and to host this show. As you know, we've got some fantastic content to go through today, some fantastic information. Plus, I have my special guest, Mr. Joe Vitale, coming on in just a few moments. But before we do that, I thought I'd go through some of the questions that have been coming through to our support team, so we can go over those first, do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we can bring Joe on and just rock it and have like an awesome show today, an awesome video cast. So today we're going to, after I go through some of the most commonly asked questions, I'm also going to be going through some information on affirmations. I know I touched on this in the last hangout that I did during the week, but there's been a lot of questions coming in. Well, how do I write my affirmations? People want me to go over the 5 types of affirmations again. So I'm going to give you some really specific tips on how to make them short, succinct, and very powerful. We're also going to talk about how important is the language that you use in your affirmations, or whenever you're going through life or working towards a goal, how important it is that you are using the right language. Because the words that we use have more power than and so we have to make sure that we're always focusing on the right things there. We are also going to be talking about your photos and pictures and how to use them in a powerful way in your mind movie and when you're doing your manifestations. We're also going to be touching on music, and of course there's no one better than Mr. Joe Vitale to be helping me with this. We actually have some of his music in the platform, in the My Movies 4.0 platform. So we're going to talk to him about music, and then also how to surrender control to the universe. This is a really interesting, that will be a very interesting topic for us to talk about, because for us, we can do all the things, to activate the law of attraction. We can set our intention. We can be in a positive vibration. We can be visualizing with emotion every day. We can be taking action. But sometimes the step that most people forget is about how we need to release and let go and trust in the universe. So we're going to cover a lot about that today as well. So some information that we haven't done before. All right, so let me go through some of the questions that have been coming through, some commonly asked questions. As I mentioned on the Hangout last time, we've had over 65,000 people register their interest and download the free 6 pre-made My Movies. So there's been a lot of activity with the support team and with the whole team this week. So I want to make sure that we go through some of these questions so that maybe we can answer them for you here. Because I know a lot of people are wondering the same thing. Now, the first question we get a lot is this a physical product or is it web-based, like an internet-based software? It is internet-based software. So what happens is that when you purchase your access to My Movies 4.0, you will receive by email your login details to log into the software that we have, and it's housed online. So you don't need to download the software to your computer, and that doesn't come in CDs. So you access it online. Now the cool thing about that is that you can access it from any computer. So once you go in and set up your access, you could be on any computer, and you could even be on your app. I actually, on my phone's over here, I actually put it out of the way so that it wouldn't ring while I was doing this hangout with you. But we actually have a Mind Movies app where you can, which is free, download it to your phone, and you can watch some of the pre-made My Movies through there, but you can also access your account, your specific account, and then watch your personal My Movies that you've got there inside your software. So it's not CDs, it is online. You can access it through your app, or you can access it through any computer, which is kind of cool. All right. Now, the next question that we get a lot is if we get the upgrade if you already have My Movies. Now, if you purchase My Movies 2.0, 2.5, or 3.0, yes, you absolutely get the upgrades. So let me explain it to you this way. You know, we have one version of the software. It's online, and so everyone gets access to this software. So every time we do upgrades and improve on the software, everybody who has access also has access to those upgrades, because it's only one version of the software. So that's how it works. So which means that moving forward, every time we do more improvements to the software, you automatically will get those upgrades. Now, you know that when you get when you open up your account and get your access to 4.0, you get lifetime access to make as many My Movies as you like, and you get access to all the upgrades as they come through. So it's only a one-time fee, and I did mention this on the last Hangout, but you know, because we have all these new users coming on board, we don't know how long we can maintain just the one-time fee to get access to the software, because we've got more and more people, so it's like obviously it is taking up more and more space. And if you know anything about, well, I don't really know that much about storage and all that kind of thing, but you know, videos do take up a lot of that space. But the thing is, if you are to get 4.0 and you purchase your access now, you are grandfathered in. You don't pay anything extra to get access to the software. You just pay the one-time fee, lifetime access to make as many movies as you like. I don't know when we will be looking at maybe having an annual fee or a monthly fee. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I do know that if you take access now and take action now, it'll be fine. You have lifetime access for that one fee. Next question is, the difference between My Movies and My Movies Matrix. This is a great question. So with My Movies, it's access to the software to make your own personal movies. But My Movies Matrix is actually pre-made movies. So they're already made for you, and they've been combined with subliminal audios and brainwave entrainment audios. So there are I forgot, I think there's about seven to 10, you know, different categories or different themes in the My Movies Matrix movies, you know, from business to energy to creating wealth, and, you know, I think we've covered most of the big ones. And so what you do with those movies is you download them and you watch the brainwave entrainment one in the morning and the subliminal one at night. Now, by combining brainwave entrainment with a mind movie, you know, the brainwave entrainment actually helps to change the brain waves, you know, the way that your brain is resonating and the frequency that it's resonating at. Brainwave entrainment is designed to get you into theta brainwave activity. Now, in theta, what that is really the gateway to the subconscious mind. So it makes it easier for the affirmations and the movie that you're watching to go straight into the subconscious mind. So it's very effective in that way. And I think the main feedback that I get from My Movies Matrix customers is that for the first time in probably forever, you know, they'll email me and go, look, I haven't achieved my goal yet, but I know without a shadow of a doubt that I will actually do it this time. So that's the difference between the two. My Movies is so that you can make your personal movies, which is more specific to what you want and the goals that you want, and Matrix are pre-made ones with the other technology combined. Okay, how many times a day should people watch their mind movies? Okay, this also is a really good question. We recommend at least twice. Once in the morning and once in the evening. Now, I like to do it first thing in the morning, especially if it's my health, my fitness and exercise mind movie, because I actually watch, I get up, I get ready, watch my mind movie and go to the gym. So what that's doing is I'm getting myself into that vibrational match and into that state, so that when I get to the gym, I'm already pumped, I'm ready to go, I'm working out just a little bit harder than I normally would. And so that's when I like to watch that movie. And, you know, I just said before, we're talking about theta brainwave activity. As you're waking up in the morning and as you're going to sleep at night, this is when you're in theta brainwave activity. So, you know, if you're watching your mind movies during those times, then you find that that it gets absorbed into the subconscious mind a lot faster. Now, when we get into the subconscious mind, what that's doing is changing our neural pathways. Our thoughts are now becoming in alignment with this new future that we want to create, which is, you know, the whole purpose of a mind movie is help you to do those visualizations, create those new neural pathways, so that everything in our being is in alignment with this future that we want to create. The other reason that it's really good last thing at night is because whatever we put in our mind, the last 10 minutes before we go to bed is what our subconscious mind is going to be rattling around within our mind all night. Now, if you're like me or a gazillion other people around the world who, these days when we're watching like a TV series, we binge watch like, half a series in a night, or we do several, episodes, which I've been known to do. But then you'll find, you know what it's like. You'll go to bed that night and you're dreaming about, the TV show that you've been watching. So if we can interrupt that pattern and just before we go to bed, use that time wisely by watching our mind movie and putting that into our subconscious mind, then we find that is what it's rattling around in there during the evening. And you'll find that sometimes when you're waking up in the morning and when you're sort of receptive to the new ideas that are coming to you, because you've had that in your subconscious mind during the evening, you'll find that it's very easy for you to come up with the next step or which direction you need to take next, or, a solution to a challenge that you have, and you'll be able to do that because that's in your mind. So they're the two, at least twice a day, and the reasons for that. Now, I also use my mind movies for at different times of the day as well. It depends which one it is, because I normally have several on the go. I always have the health and fitness one, and I always have one which is for the specific project that I'm working on, and then I have a general one for the year. So 2015, I think I sent that one out to my movies community a couple of weeks ago about what my goals are for 2015. So every year I'm like, okay, what am I doing this year? So like I said, my health and fitness one I'll watch on the way to the gym. Sometimes I actually watch it like in the afternoons when I'm thinking, I wouldn't mind a glass of wine, or I wouldn't mind, cheese and bickies or whatever is not on my diet. I will watch my mind movie. And what that does is it helps me to remind me, why I'm going through the extra effort, what my goal is, how amazing it's going to be when I get there. So it really helps to keep me motivated and on target and on track. So that's always, it's good for an extra little booster every once in a while. If I'm working on a specific project, I like to watch that mind movie before I start working on that project, because it really helps me to get into that vibrational match of what the end result that I'm trying to achieve. So it really helps me to be very clear. It helps me to be more creative, and it really helps me to work easier on that project during the day. So at least twice, but whenever else if you feel called for it, it's a really good time to do that as well. Or sometimes if you just, haven't got much to do and you're sitting on the bus or the train and you're on your way to work, why not watch your mind movie? It'd be great to watch something positive, and it really helps you to get into that mental state for you to be able to create that. Okay, the next question is, here is the other question that keeps coming in quite frequently, and it's like, can I make my mind movie on an iPad or an iPhone? Okay, so here is the situation with that. The software, the mind movie software, is Flash based. Now, I don't know why, but Apple and Adobe, which do the people that do Flash, for some reason they've got some beef with each other. I don't know what's going on, but the thing is, you cannot watch Flash or access Flash-based programs on your iPhone or your iPad. So that is sad, but it is what's happening. So the thing is, when you're creating your mind movie, you kind of really want to be on your computer anyway. There's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, especially if you want to download all of your personal photos from Facebook, you want to make sure that you're on your computer to be able to do that. If you want to be downloading any personal music or any personal photos from your hard drive, of course you want to be on your computer to do that as well. And I kind of find I like to have the big screen, and have, so I've got a bit of space to do that. And when you go through the process of making a mind movie, I always write out my affirmations first. To me, I'd like to be clear about, what they are. I have about 20 or 25, so I have the whole list written out, so that when I go in to make my mind movie, I have the list on one computer screen, or have it open on one side of the screen, and then as I'm going through, I know where I'm up to, and I just have to type in the affirmation and then just be in the photo section to make it easy for me to drag and drop the photos in. So, you know, it's kind of better to be on your computer anyway. I think it's a much more pleasant experience. And I know that once you get that first one in the can and you've finished your first Mind Movie, it's so much easier after that, that it'll be easy for you to complete from there. But in saying that, like I was just mentioning before, we have the Mind Movies app, which means that you can watch pre-made Mind Movies. You can also access, you know, your account in the software, and you can watch your personal Mind Movies that are in your account, you know, in your thing there, so that you can watch them anytime you want as well. You can also download them to, you know, you can download your Mind Movie to your computer and then download it to your iPad or your iPhone. But now that we have access to, so you actually have the file on your phone, but now that we have access through the app, that's kind of like the old school way of doing it. But you can still do that as well, because you may be somewhere where you don't have internet access. Okay, so that's the main type that's there. They are the main questions that have been coming in. Now, I want to encourage you that if you're here on the Google Hangout, the reason that we do this is because we want you to interact and to send us questions as they come up for you. So as I'm talking, if something comes up for you, just send through the question, and then I will do my best to answer it here on the Hangout. But what will happen is that if I can't answer it on the Hangout, all of the questions go through to our support team, our amazing support team that have been doing a fantastic job. They have really been under the pump. I know the last Hangout we had over 360 questions come in. They did a fantastic job of getting back to everyone. So I guarantee they will get back to you. But hopefully they will come through and I can answer them here in the Hangout. So there's a couple that have come in. Mind Movie Matrix, a time, a few different ones each day. Oh, okay, this is a good question. So with Mind Movies on Mind Movies Matrix, because some people do already have the Mind Movies Matrix program, or the Mind Movies on their computer. This is how I recommend you combine the two of them together. If you have a personal Mind Movie about, you know, creating wealth, or you have a personal Mind Movie about creating the relationship you want or the health that you want, I recommend that you watch the Matrix Mind Movie first. That is the same theme as your personal Mind Movie, because what that does is it gets your brain into theta brainwave activity. So you watch that Matrix Mind Movies first, your brain is in theta, and then you watch your personal Mind Movie. So that really helps for those affirmations to be absorbed straight into your subconscious mind. So that is the way that I recommend you do that. Again, with Matrix Mind Movies, it's the same. You watch your brain entrainment one in the morning, you watch your subliminal one at night. If you wanted to watch them more throughout the day, you can absolutely do that. But, you know, brainwave entrainment in the morning, subliminal at night, which is the best way, the optimal way to use those movies. Can we watch a different movie each day or the same movie? Oh, excellent question. Okay, so here's the thing that I really recommend, because the thing is, I know that when people, you know, we come across Mind Movies and it's like, oh my God, I have got like 50 goals that I want. I need to improve in my love life and in my health and in my wealth and the whole thing. To me, I think that to get the best results, you want to focus on one thing at a time. Because the thing is, when and you know that you've got several projects on the go at the time, you can't really give enough energy to all of them. And sometimes you just, you know, end up doing everything kind of like half instead of really getting full in there, boots and all, and making sure that you put everything into making that a success. So I do recommend that you choose one life area. Focus on that first. Get some results there first, and then start to focus on the others. Now, in saying that, there is no harm in having your affirmations or your goals written out for the other life areas and just have them to the side. Because here's what I do know. You may be focusing, let's say you focus on creating wealth. And you're doing your visualizations, you're maintaining this positive vibration. You find that things are starting to fall into place easily for you. But because you already know what it is that you want to achieve in these other areas, sometimes things will start to fall into place without you putting a whole lot of effort into it. because you are very clear about what you want to create in those other life areas. So yes, by all means, have as many mind movies as you want, but to really get fast success and success at a much faster rate, I highly recommend that you focus on one area of life first and then focus on the other ones afterwards. Okay. What other questions have we got coming in? Can they watch it? Give some example of affirmations. Okay, I'm going to pause on that for a moment because I'm actually going to do a whole section on affirmations. So we'll wait for just a moment, and I'll wait till Joe Vitale comes on the Hangout so we can tackle that one together, because we've got quite a bit of information about that. So what I wanted to do now is just to let you know that below this video, an order form is about to appear. If it's not already there, it is about to appear. Now, we had such amazing feedback from the Hangout that I did during the week that we wanted to extend the specific and special offer that we had for people that were on the Hangout. We wanted to extend it for everyone who's watching today as well. So let me tell you what this special offer is. So basically, if you are watching this Hangout and you can see this offer on this page, you are able to take advantage of it. So the couple of things that you do need to know. First of all, you have to be watching the Hangout to be able to get access to it. The other thing, and I did mention this on the last Hangout, with the release of 4.0, we only are going to be releasing 3,000 accounts for My Movies 4.0 in this, in this launch campaign. Now, I know that 3,000 sounds like a lot of accounts. It's a big number. But when you put it in perspective, like I said, we have had over 65,000 people already download their pre-made My Movies and already show interest in My Movies 4.0. Now, this morning, before I got on the Hangout, when I checked what we're at, the numbers that we're at, we only have about just under 700 accounts left. Now, that's not a lot of accounts. So you think we had 3,000, we've only just got under 700 now. So they are going like hotcakes. So I recommend that if you are interested in My Movies 4.0, that you do take action, use the order form that's on this page. Now, what makes this one different to the other offer that you will find on the main sales page is that we have an extra special bonus for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a get started training workshop. It's going to be in a format like this. So you will be able to watch my computer screen as I'm creating a My Movie. Now I'm going to go from beginning to end. We're going to go through the whole process of creating your affirmations, and you're going to actually see me creating one through my computer screen, and then what you can do is actually make yours at the same time. Now I'm going to be sharing all my special tips. These days it takes me less than 30 minutes to make a Mind Movie. I mean, obviously I've made quite a few of them, and of course with the upgrades with 4.0, it's made it even easier. But the thing is, you'll be able to watch exactly what I do and then be able to do it yourself by the end. So by the end of the training, you'll have your Mind Movie done. Now that's huge. For most people, they go, yes, I want this, and it's all great, and then they get into the software and go, oh, it looks a little bit hard. How do I do this bit? I'll be able to walk you through all of it. So I want to make sure that you get access to that, and you only get access to that through the special offer on this page. Now, of course, on top of that, you get all the other bonuses. We've got like over $1,000 worth of bonuses, which is supplied by all of our friends in the law of attraction and personal development world. And let me just read a couple of them so that you know what they are. Bob Proctor, our friend Bob Proctor, the legend Bob Proctor. He's given us the 12 principles for winning the mind game. Now that's valued at $150. Now, as you know, everything that Bob gives us on every program that Bob has is just insanely awesome. So so that is actually included when you purchase My Movies 4.0. Also, Mary Morrissey has given us the Morning Mentor 90-day video series. So with this program, it's actually valued at $90, but every morning you have Mary Morrissey coming into your inbox and giving you like a pep for the day and giving you that inspiration to stay the course. And no one does it better than Mary. We love her. Also, Christy Marie Sheldon. She's a very popular with the My Movies community. Amazing energy healer, fantastic for getting rid of energy blocks that are, sabotaging you from success. She's given us the Love or Above toolkit, which is valued at $47. So if you are looking for love and wanting to expand on the relationships that you already have in your life, then that's going to be an amazing bonus for you. We're also including my Law of Attraction 101 multimedia course. Now, this course is all the basics on how to apply Law of Attraction from woe to go. There is nothing that's missed. It's very easy to follow. And so when you go through this program and then create your My Movies, well, you have the perfect recipe for being able to apply Law of Attraction and get the success that you want. So over $1,000 worth of bonuses, as well as My Movies 4.0 lifetime access to make as many movies as you like, and also the Get Started training workshop as well, so that I can help you create your My Movie for that as well. Now, also remember, one of the questions that does come through is like, well, what if My Movies doesn't work for me? With everything that we sell and that we provide at My Movies, we have a 60-day money-back guarantee. Now, what that means is that, like, money-back guarantee, no questions asked. So if it's not working for you, if you're finding the software is too hard to use, which, I don't think you will be, because we've definitely designed it to make it as easy as possible, and we have the whole support team in there as well. So for any reason you're not happy with My Movies, all you need to do is send me an email at support@mymovies.com, and we will rush you a full refund within 60 days. So really there is no risk. You can get in there, you can try it out, and then you can make sure you go through that whole process together. Now, I can see that our special guest has arrived. How are you, Joe? Are you there?
Good. I am there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, you can. Okay, great. Yes, I am here. Hello, you look beautiful. Great to see you.
So do you. I can see you got your hair done and everything today for us. You're looking very...
I did. How do I look? It didn't take long at all. A couple snips, we're done.
Well, welcome to the Hangout, Joe. I've just been going through some of the commonly asked questions that have been coming through and explaining the special offer that we have for people that have actually committed time on their Saturday to sit down on the Hangout and actually go through and learn this information and figure out what it is that they really need to apply to create amazing success in their life. So we're into it already. So I'm really glad that you're here, because we've got some great information that we want to go through, and I think we might just get stuck into it. What do you think?
I'm ready to do whatever you want.
All right.
I'm ready to rock and roll, answer questions, play cards with you, dance, whatever you want to do.
Oh, that's sweet. Now, we're also going to be, because of course this is live and interactive, so people will be asking us questions as we go. So we're just going to start and get into it and see where it leads and where it goes from there. Now, a lot of the questions that we do get is in relation to affirmations, how to use affirmations, how to write affirmations effectively, and what role they play when it comes to visualization. So I know that you have been using affirmations for a gazillion years. So what are some of the tips that you can share with people on the most effective way to use a visualization to help them, an affirmation to help them with their visualization?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first thing people need to realize is that they're already using affirmations. When they're thinking to themselves, these are affirmations. But usually the affirmations are dark, critical, negative. They're about the things they don't want in their lives, and then they seem surprised when they attract more of that a little later. So people are already using some sort of kindergarten version of affirmations by nature of living, by the nature of what they've learned over time. Now, what we want to do is take control of that. What we want to do is go in the direction of co-creating our reality by using affirmations, working with our visualization to get into our subconscious mind so we can create the reality we want. So for me, I know that having a positive affirmation is utmost important, a short affirmation, an active affirmation, a visual affirmation, an emotional affirmation. Now, that might sound like a lot, but what I'm really just saying is your statements need to be short and sweet and to the point about what you want in your life. And the more you can have these short, vibrant, active affirmations, these sentences, these little sentences that make you feel good, that raise your energy just thinking about the affirmation, the more you'll be able to align with your visualization and get that message to your subconscious mind. And then from there, the subconscious mind does this magic act and actually helps create your new reality by moving around everybody in your world as if they're chess pieces. And we all get moved around to help fulfill the very thing you're visualizing and you're affirming. But it all goes back to becoming aware of what we're already affirming. And for most people, it is not what they really want. Most people, it's negative and it's critical. We want to have upbeat, short, visual, emotional, vibrant affirmations.
So give me a couple of examples of what you're talking about.
Well, I'm always writing about money. You know, I wrote a book called Attract Money Now, and people think of me sometimes anyway as a money guy. So for most people, when they think of money, they think in terms of there isn't enough, and they have very bad feelings about money. They might even still believe money is evil, or money is bad, or money is bad for them. And so those are the affirmations that are vibrant in their mind, and it doesn't help them attract more money. It actually helps them self-sabotage themselves to get rid of money, or to self-deceive themselves to think they're going for money when they really aren't. So a very small affirmation, and this is just off the top of my head, might be something like, money comes to me easily and effortlessly, and I'm using it for my highest good. Now, that might even be slightly too long, but it's definitely in the right direction. When I'm saying money's coming to me, I'm active. I'm actually being specific. I'm saying money, and I'm saying it's coming to me. I'm not saying money will come to me off in the future someplace, which means it's not coming to you. It's way out there in the future. We want money is coming to me now. And then I got the specific in there that money's coming to me. I love money to go to you as well, and money to go to other people, but when I'm doing my affirmation, I want money is coming to me. I'm saying easily and effortlessly because those are words that are active, and they're the opposite of what most people think. When they think of money, they think money's hard to get, money is scarce, the economy is bad, and guess what? Those are all affirmations, by the way. They're negations, and what they're doing is stopping money from coming to you. So you want the opposite of that. And so money coming to me easily and effortlessly right now, present tense, means that I am anchoring myself in this moment, which is our point of power, to bring the money into myself, into my world right now. So that's a quick example.
Yeah, I know. I like the emotional part, because with our visualization, we have to feel the emotions of already being there, so that you could say I am wealthy. But if you wanted to add emotion to that affirmation, you could say, I am outrageously wealthy.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say that without smiling, going, yeah, I'm outrageously wealthy. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm sitting up and taking notice. You are outrageously wealthy. I like it. I like it.
Exactly.
Well, what I've learned about the mind is that the subconscious mind responds very quickly to what we love, what we hate, and what we fear. Those are highly emotional states, and the subconscious mind takes notice of those. And so what I want to do when I'm talking to people about creating their own life, their new life, their transformed life, their outrageously wealthy and successful life, is for them to come from love. So in other words, what would really excite them? What would they love to have in their experience? What would be a symbol of that outrageous, wealthy experience that they can fall in love with? But because the more they have that emotion of love, of joy, of exuberance, joyousness, the more they have that emotion, the more they are sending a signal right into the subconscious mind. So I love the outrageously wealthy. I mean, that sounds great, but I'm smiling thinking about it.
Yeah. And and the other point that you bring up too, which is really important, is being short and succinct.
Yes.
To have an affirmation like, I earn more than enough money to pay my bills and do what I want, when I want, whenever I want. Well, that's it's a little lengthy, and especially if you're using it in a mind movie, you're not going to be able to read all of that. Remember, the slides are only up for like a couple of seconds, a few seconds. So you can make that more short and succinct. It's like, I earn more than enough money. And then you can perhaps make another one go, I do what I want when I want.
Yes.
Or you can even turn that into something like, this gives me complete freedom. And what that does is that it really, because the other thing with the affirmations, and I'd like your take on this, is that we don't want to be too specific. If we're choosing that we want to earn money, we don't need to specifically say how we think it's going to happen.
Oh, that's a great point. That's where we all get caught up, and including me from time to time, and I'll start thinking about how will it come to me. I might think outrageously big about something that I would like to have, do, or be, something I would experience, and then I think it's the nature of the human mind where we start to go, but how will that happen? And we start to try to unravel or create a plan or a system. And what I've learned is I have to let go. Because my trying to make it happen, my trying to figure it out, my looking for the how is coming from my conscious mind. And my conscious mind has a very limited view of what's possible. My conscious mind usually is looking at what was possible in my personal past or in somebody else that I know, their personal past. But the subconscious mind and the collective unconscious, if you will, we live in this world of infinite possibilities. I don't really know that we have any limits at all. I honestly don't know that we have any limits. And I think it's worth trying. So if somebody has some big thing they want to go for, I think it's worth trying to go for it without being worried about the how. Because we also live in a magical universe, and things do happen where the doorbell rings or the phone rings or something happens, and you are suddenly blown away by the outrageous system of events that took place to make your dream come true. So I don't want to be hung up on how at all. I want to be open to, I declare that I am outrageously wealthy. Let my subconscious mind bring in all the different ways that that can happen. And I will be surprised by what it comes up with, and I will be joyously surprised because it will all be positive, it will all be happy, it will all be something I want to celebrate. But I think it's a big mistake, if not one of the #1 mistakes, is to worry about how will it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put a limit on it.
Yeah, and if you're on the Hangout and you've been seeing some of the videos that we've been sending out over the last week or so, and with Glenn and I telling the Mind Movie story, you know that when our friend approached us with the idea of Mind Movies and setting up the website, to be able to have the instructions so people around the world could create movies for themselves, Glenn could hardly turn on a computer. I think he'd sent maybe 2 or 3 emails in his life. I hadn't even heard of YouTube. We knew nothing about the internet.
Right.
And someone and I had a whole bunch of affirmations already written out about the life that I wanted, and I wanted to do something that I really loved, that I was helping people around the world, that I could speak on stage and I could travel, and and if someone had told me 2 weeks before our friend approached us with this idea that I was going to create that life and something way more that way exceeded what I had in my mind, and I was going to do it through the internet, I would have laughed at them. There was just no way it was going to happen. But that's how it comes together. It doesn't come together in the way. Very rarely do things fall into place the way that you think they're going to. Don't you?
Exactly right. What a great story. Well, I've got the same thing going on. I've recreated myself so many times in my 60-some years here. I'm now a musician, as you know, and we'll just take one little aspect of this. It was 1 year ago, that I heard a baritone saxophone for the first time in my life. And so at the age of 60, I decided to play the baritone saxophone. And in my mind, I had these little affirmations like, I want to be great at playing the baritone saxophone. I want to record an album of sensual, seductive saxophone music, playing the baritone with me doing it. I wanted it to be all original music. But get this, when I stated those affirmations and I had that visualization, I couldn't play the baritone saxophone. I didn't own a baritone saxophone. I was just dreaming big. Now, as you know, I am now a baritone saxophone player. And my baritone saxophone album, which is called Afflatus, came out just a couple months ago. And I could not have planned how that came about. I could not have consciously figured out everything and pulled all the right people together. But what I did was state my affirmation, have my visualization, and then follow what I call the signs and the signals from the universe. They lay down little breadcrumbs. Your guardian angels, I don't know what you want to call this, but the subconscious mind is in partnership with the world at large. And it lays down little breadcrumbs, and it will say, go here, or buy this, or attend this event, or invest in this product. And as a result of following the breadcrumbs, you end up living the very thing you were affirming. In my case, being a musician and now a saxophone player. Blows my mind. It's amazing.
I know, it is just crazy. Now, guys, I've got a few people sending in messages saying that they cannot see the order form underneath the video. So if you can't see the order form, just refresh the page, refresh your website page, and it should show up for you. Don't you just love technology? It's kind of a fine line between it's good and it's bad. But if you just refresh the page, then that order form should show up for you underneath there. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention about affirmations, and you did touch on this before, is like how we write them is really important. You know, I know a lot of people start their affirmations with, I want to be successful, or I want to be abundantly wealthy. Now, when you start an affirmations with the words, I want, well, all you're doing is staying in that energy of wanting it and not really having it. You know, we really need to be in that energy of having it. And remember, if you were on the last hangout, you know, the way that I recommend that you use affirmations is not to stand in front of the mirror and recite these affirmations, which are a far cry from your existing reality, because, you know, all you do, your subconscious mind and conscious mind are just fighting, going, this is not right. But your affirmations, they're designed to describe the future that you want to create, which is why they must be written in present tense as if they're already happening. So if you know that that's the intention behind writing your affirmations, and you write them in that present tense, then you find that when you're doing a visualization, it really helps you to put you into that visualization. Now, on the last hangout, I went through the 5 types of affirmations I recommend that you write, and I'm just going to go over them again quickly now. So your first affirmation, type of affirmation, is what it is that you want, you know. And if you can start these affirmations with I am, then you have instantly taken ownership of this reality. You know, I am a size 8. I am abundantly wealthy. I am in a loving and supportive, you know, mind-blowing relationship, you know, whatever that is. So make sure that you write down first of all, what it is that you want to achieve. The second type of affirmation is what I call what life is like now. So once you have this incredible wealth in your life, once you have the optimal health that you could possibly want, and you're in this amazing relationship, well, how does that change your life? You know, what do you do differently? You know, if you're creating wealth in your life, are you giving to charities? Are you sending your kids to college? Are you working? You know, are you going to lunch with your girlfriends? Are you shopping? Are you buying a car? Like, what is it that you're doing? How does this change your life, and what does it mean to you? We're going to go into a little bit more in a minute about the photos and the pictures that you should be using with your affirmations. But it's all about, what does this mean to you? What's life going to be like once you get there? Because when you do your visualizations, you have to be you have to see yourself already doing that, already living that life, you know. So it's very important that you have those affirmations. The third type of affirmation is why. Why do you want this outrageous wealth? You know, is it to feel good about yourself? Is it so that your family is proud? Is it so you can create this amazing life for your children? You know, is it so that you can change the lives of you know, children in underprivileged countries? Like, whatever that is, make sure you put that in there as well, because that gives you the burning motivation to keep going when you come across different challenges. Your next type of affirmation is your action affirmations. Now, you don't need to know the whole plan. You don't need to have it figured out. And even the best laid plans, if you're open to, you know, the signals and the help that the universe is sending you, you probably won't follow that plan anyway, because we don't want to focus on how, but you do need to start some steps in that direction so you can be in the right place at the right time to receive the help from the universe. So whatever it is that you need to start doing, make sure you write them as affirmations so that when you're doing your visualization, you already see yourself doing that and completing those tasks, which makes it easier for you to do. And then the last type of affirmation is your thought affirmations. So how do you need to think to be a wealthy person, or to be a healthy person, or to be in that amazing loving relationship? You know, how do the thoughts that you have now, and how do they need to change to be in alignment with this new reality that you want to create? Because, you know, for us to be wealthy or loved or healthy, we need to be that person first. And when we are that person and we are resonating and we're vibrating at that frequency, then it is easy for those things to come to us. You know, what do you think about that, Joe, about the, you know, being first, being that embodiment first before those things can be attracted to us?
That's a great question. I actually think that that's one of the secrets to accelerating the process of getting what you want. The more you can be here now and embody the feeling, the mindset, the emotions, the physicality of having, doing, or being whatever it is that you're affirming and visualizing, the more you will rapidly bring it into your life experience. We live in this kind of world where we're in a waking trance. That's a hypnosis term, and it means our eyes are open, but our mindset is already geared and programmed to go in a certain direction, and that programming is based on our past. What we're doing with this wonderful tool that you have that we're talking about is reprogramming ourselves so we can go in a new direction. So we already have an embodiment from a past paradigm or a mindset based on the affirmations and everything we absorbed growing up and from other people. But now in this present reality, we're learning how to use affirmations and visualizations and other tools, including your wonderful tool. And so what I'm saying now is the more we can sit here and actually go into an almost holographic experience when we are mentally already thinking like the person who has what you want and physically feeling what it would be like to have whatever it is that you say you want, and doing every part of the physical living experience, the mental, the spiritual, all of it, to live that now. The more you can do that now, the more it's going to come about in a very rapid, you accelerate all of this. This is a secret to making it happen at a rapid, almost astonishing rate. So I'm all for it. I love it. This is one of the things I talk about and do. So, yes, it works.
Now, one of the questions that's been coming through is like, well, how do you know how to write your affirmations if you don't know what you want? So,
Yeah.
you know, with My Movies 4.0, when you go inside the software, there's a video in there that I created called the Dream Crystallization Video Class. Now, that video will actually take you through not just a lot of the information we just covered now on how to write your affirmations, but I take you through 9 different key life areas and ask you certain questions to get your brain, you know, moving and thinking about, oh, well, okay, I do want to be wealthy, but what does that look like? What does that mean to me? So between the photos and the questions that I ask you going through that video class, that actually helps you to get clear about what it is that you want, so that you can create your mind movie. Now, a caveat to that and an extension of that is what I find, and many people do this, and I'll find that when you create your mind movie, it'll probably happen for you as well. You create your first initial mind movie, and then you start to watch it, and you start to put yourself in that picture, and then sometimes you come to the realization, it's like, you know what? That's actually not what I want. But because you've gone through the process of putting yourself in that future in your mind, you realize that you actually want something different. Now, the cool thing about My Movies 4.0 is that you can go in and edit. You know, so you go, actually, don't want this. It could be like, I don't want an Audi R8. I want a red Ferrari or whatever. But it could be, you know, I don't want to do a holiday to this area. I actually want to go to this country because while I'm there and expanding my mind and creating and experiencing a new culture, I can also be helping the local people. So it could be something like that. But you know, you'll find that you do tweak and change a lot of what you have in your mind movie, because as you sit in it, you realize that you want something different. But what would you say to people, Joe, that are like, well, I don't really know what I want. Like, how do I figure that out?
Well, I love what you just explained, because I know Mind Movies is very powerful, and can lead people to discovering what they want. And as you just pointed out, if they actually sit in the car in their mind and they realize, oh, this isn't exactly what they want, they just adjust the photo, they just adjust the experience, and so they can fine tune it. Now, to answer your question, I have more of a tough love approach with people. So if they look at me and they go, I don't really know what I want, I look at them and say, you're lying. You're lying to me and you're lying to yourself. You might be doing it intentionally, but you might also be doing it unconsciously, because all of us have a secret desire. We don't usually voice it because we then have to take accountability for it. We then have to explain why we don't have it, or why we haven't been taking any action for it, and we have to come up with all the excuses, or we have to actually start doing the work to lead us in the direction of having it. So I tell people, you're probably deceiving yourself, and you probably know what you really want. And then I lead them to a couple little games, and I'll say things like, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? What were some of the things that were the most fun for you, the most passionate for you? And maybe they're even still hobbies for you right now, but you put them aside because you thought, that'll never happen for me, or I don't see how that can happen for me. And what I want to do is tease out their big dream, that little secret desire that's there. And then the other thing I do is, for example, right now in the United States, the Powerball in the lottery is up to, I don't know, I think it's $300 million. And I'm not telling anybody to go buy a ticket. I'm not encouraging gambling. I use this as a prosperity exercise to help uncover what people really want. And I'll say, if I bought you a ticket and you won and you got $300 million, and even after taxes you have $200 million in cash, what are you going to do? And people, of course, will say they're going to buy a lot of shoes, they're going to buy a lot of cars, they're going to buy houses, they're going to go on trips. And I'll go, I know you're going to do all that. After 6 months of that and the dust settles and you're bored, what are you going to do? That moves them in the direction of what they really want, because then they'll start to say, well, I always wanted to open a bakery. I always wanted to write a book. I always wanted to travel. I always wanted to do fill in the blank. So I tease out of people that big dream, the thing that they haven't even admitted to themselves. So that ruthless honesty combined with mind movies helps them fine-tune and hone in on what they want, which they can then go for.
Yeah. Now you bring up an important point there as well, and you know, if you're on the Hangout and you're watching this video, I encourage you, especially with your wealth goals, to hit those wealth goals, hit the money that you want, because when you get there, you realize it's not about the money.
Exactly. Good point.
But you need to get there first. You need to create the wealth first. Absolutely. Buy the car that you've always dreamed of. Get there first, because then once you get there and you have that level of comfortable and security, it's like, okay, well, now what am I going to do with my life? And I find that this is the point where people go, well, what is my purpose? What is my mission? How can I serve, or how can I make a difference? Because, you know, but you definitely go for the money goals first, because you need to get there first to be able to experience well, it's not about the money. So now before we leave the affirmations discussion, I think the other thing I wanted to cover was the words that we use in your affirmations as well. So remember I was saying that for me, I use an affirmation to help describe and help me visualize. So using an affirmation like I am debt-free, I don't like to use that affirmation, because to me, when I say the word debt, the picture that it conjures up in my mind is anything but financial freedom. It's actually a moment of frustration, you know, sitting at my desk and going, what am I missing? Like, how am I slipping back financially? You know, or when I'm talking about I have more than enough money to pay my bills. Well, as soon as I think bills, it actually takes me back to that moment as well, because I had this pile, like they were all over my desk. I remember seeing them, all these bills, and then my bank balance is like, you know, definitely not covering the bills that I had and the credit card statements that I had on my desk. But so when I use language like that, or use words like that, they trigger a certain picture in my mind that I really don't want inside my visualization. So really be careful about, you know, using the type of words that you use. So if your affirmation has something like, you know, I don't, you know, if it has the words no, don't, or not, and often you'll find that that negates whatever is in that affirmation. So I don't like to use those words. I don't use specific words that remind me of bills or debt or, you know, or pain is another big one. You know, I'm pain free. You know, I'm sure that especially if you are someone who does suffer pain, as soon as you say the word pain, it's like, bang, you're instantly in pain. So we want to use something that's more of an affirmation, like, you know, I am in optimal health. You know, every limb in my body is strong and I am fit. You know, things like that. So you want to really describe what it is that you do want, not what you're trying to get out of. And always try and start as many affirmations with the words I am as you possibly can, so that you can take ownership and really see yourself in that affirmation. So do you have anything else to add to the affirmations, Joe, before we move on to...
Well, I just want to comment on that. I totally agree with what you were just saying there. Words have meaning, and some words have baggage, meaning that the wrong word can bring up the wrong image and the wrong feeling for people. Much like you were pointing out, I'm just confirming what you're saying, that if you use the word debt, that's not generally considered to be a positive word. And if you say things like I am pain-free, or I am cancer-free, or I am free of the IRS, or any of these, those are loaded words. And what we want to do is spend a minute or two finding the positive words that we use that might mean the same thing, or they might even mean the opposite. But we want to find those positive words to replace them with. And the way that people find out is just to notice how they feel. If they say, I am debt-free, and they're sensitive to the words, they'll probably notice that the word debt brings them down. Their energy is going to lower a little bit. But if they say, I am financially free, or I am outrageously wealthy, the energy should come up. And I think that's the way for people to find out, is if the affirmation's working for them or not. Does it make them smile? Does it make them feel buoyant? Does it bring the energy up? Do they have a sense of joyousness? Does it feel like, hell yeah, that's the one I want to have in my life? If so, then you're going in the right way. But being aware, really sensitive to words is really important, especially with affirmations.
Yeah, awesome. Now we're about to go in and talk about the next subjects we want to cover is, you know, pictures, music, how to you know, how to use them really effectively when you're visualizing it with your mind movie. So before we do that, I might actually play the video, which is the demonstration of the new software and some of the new additions to the software. So let's go to that now, and then we can tackle those other subjects in just a minute. So let me just throw to that video. So today I'm going to demonstrate just how easy it is to make your very own mind movie. So first we start with the pictures. Now I'm going to go down to the money section, because they're all categorized here, and choose some photos. So once you see a photo that you like, you just click on that photo and drag it down to the timeline. I like that one because it's like raining money. What about this guy that's got a fistful of cash? And what about this lady? So she's got some money there as well. It looks fantastic. Now you can use the photos that are here in the platform, or you can upload your own photos, which you can either do from your hard drive, or by clicking one click on this button here, you can import all of your photos from Facebook. Next we have our affirmations. And let's go to money section. And when you see an affirmation that you like, you can just drag that down and sit that on the photo, or you can click customize text and type your own. And we'll put a quick one here as well. So the next is our music. And you can see that we have a whole library of music here. And I know there's one song that I love that would go particularly with this, is that I've got a millionaire mind. You just click on that. Sounds great. We'll press apply. And that's now applied to our mind movie. So let's save the project. And let's see what we've created. So the last step is to send to processor. And you can see here, you have the choice. You can send your My Movie directly to Facebook or to YouTube just by clicking those boxes. We're going to send to processor and then go to My Movies. And that will show up in my list of My Movies. You can see I've made quite a few, which is processing down here. Once that is processed, we can download our My Movie to either a Mac or a PC, or we can share our My Movie on Facebook, YouTube, or a new feature here is to email a friend. So it shows up on a private page that only they can see. And there you have it. That's how easy it is to make your very own My Movie. Now I'd like to explain some of the brand new features that you'll find with My Movies 4.0. Now if you're looking for a picture that's specific to what you want, you can click on the More Actions button here. Go to search images, and let's say that we want to search for an image of a red car. Press the search button, and then all the photos that we have of red cars come up. And again, you can just drag that down to the timeline. I'd like to share this new feature of videos. We can now insert videos into our My Movie. Go to Material Possessions and click on one of the videos here. It will play for me. This is perfect for my My Movie. So I'll just close this up and drag that down to my timeline. You can see here we can adjust the duration of how long we want that video to play just by moving the triangle. I'm going to keep it at 4 seconds though. And I can also write an affirmation on top of that. And with the music section, the exciting new addition is the Add Subliminal Audio. As you can see, we have a few different subliminal audios here. This sounds like white noise, and it is played in addition to, at the same time as the music on your My Movie. If you choose a subliminal audio that is the same theme as your My Movie and apply that, what will happen is it will be playing faintly underneath the music, but only your subconscious mind will be able to absorb the millions of affirmations that are actually laced into that subliminal audio. So it's a fantastic way to boost the effectiveness of your My Movie. Very exciting. And remember, you can always upload your own music from the library that you have on your computer. So let's take a look at how the My Movie looks now with my new money clip video inside of it. There's a secret to success. Everybody hopes to find. There's a key to the world. And there you go. That's how easy it is to create your very own My Movie. There we go. That is the new version and some of the new features that we have in the new My Movies 4.0 platform.
Very impressive. Very impressive. That was easy. That looked fun, and looked like you were picking out my car.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you have so many beautiful cars, Joe. Actually, there are some very unique cars that you have in your garage that I know of that we don't even have photos of inside the My Movies platform.
Well, I'll have to send you a couple.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what we've done with 4.0 is actually added a whole bunch more photos in there as well. So there's a whole lot more. I think we've more than doubled the library that we have in there. Now, when it comes to the photos and the music that we have inside the platform, we have to make sure that whatever we have in there is royalty free. What that means is that when you post or if you choose to post your My Movies publicly, and it's completely up to you, you don't have to do that, but if you post it on YouTube or Facebook, we have to make sure that you're allowed to use those photos and that you're allowed to use that music. Otherwise, we're getting big trouble. You get in trouble, we get in trouble. So that's what we have to be very, very conscious about that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit now about the photos and how to choose the right photos for your My Movie. Because the affirmations, of course, are super powerful. If you're using the right language, and we've written them, very succinctly. But when you can enhance that affirmation with the right photo or the right picture, then what you're doing is really helping to make it so much easier for you to have this visualization with emotion. This is the whole purpose of our visualizations, because we don't want to just see it. We also need to be able to feel the emotions of already being there, or feel what it's like to already be living that life, so that we can vibrate at that frequency. Because remember, emotions are the language that the universe understands. It is the energy and vibration the universe understands. So whatever we send out as that frequency or as that vibration, then whatever is a vibrational match to that frequency then gets attracted back to us to help us make that a reality. So this is the whole purpose of our visualizations. So when we're talking about the pictures that we want to use, we really want to use something that's going to help incite emotion, or that has like Joe was saying before, a symbolic meaning to you as to what wealth means to you, what health means to you, what love means to you. So it needs to be something that's specific, that's for you. Some people, when they think of wealth, they think of a red Ferrari. To be honest with you, that is the last kind of car I would drive, because to me it's like it's a pretty heavy car to drive. You can't really open it up on the road. It's a bit clunky, and you kind of feel like you don't want to be parking it just anywhere in case someone scratches it, or to me I don't want to do that with a car. But I'm a girl, so I understand how boys like to have the flashy cars, but for me that's not what I want. So for me, wealth means something more like being able to help others, to build a village in Africa, to help the underprivileged children in Colombia, or whatever that is, or to be able to go shopping, without having to look at the price tag. I know that in my original movie, I had things like, I have a stylist, because I like to look good, but I didn't have that gene that most women have about wanting to go clothes shopping. So I'm like, I want someone to help me do that. I want to look good, but have help doing it. I said that I wanted to have a personal chef. I like to eat healthy, but when I've got 1,000 things on the go, I want someone to come in and help me, prepare this food so I can stick to my diet regime, but do it in a way that I'm not, that's easy for me to do that. So when you think of wealth, Joe, what are some of the things that come up for you?
Well, I like everything you're talking about there. Obviously, you know that I have a small car collection, so that's an important thing to me. But also, where I live is very important, because I was homeless, as you know, decades ago. So having the home of my dreams is one of those fantasies that has come to life for me. I get to live the lifestyle of the rich and famous, but one of the ways I got there is by visualizing the kind of home I wanted long before it was possible to make that come true. And it's the same thing with cars. I now have cars that I never thought were possible for me to have. I didn't even know that they existed. But they're elements of what I'm able to do to bring in wealth into my life. Now, of course, not everybody in my family is doing well. My parents are ill, and my sister and brother are out of work, out of the traditional work. They're in that mindset. And what I'm able to do, one of the things that wealth means to me, is that I can help family, friends. I can help causes I believe in. I started a movement to end homelessness called Operation Yes. Yes, Y-E-S. And one of the things I do is visualize that is ended. Almost like Abe Lincoln in slavery, we get to the point where it's like, well, that's been abolished. We don't have it anymore. And so I have those kind of visions that come into my mind. And of course, I'm still an author. I'm writing books. I want my books to do really well. And so I would have visions of them being the new ones coming out, being on the New York Times best-selling list. I'm now a musician. I have 10 albums out. I want to be on Billboard magazine. I've been in Rolling Stone. I want to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. So all of these are images for me of wealth. Just like you were talking about the Ferrari. Ferrari does nothing for me either. I know it's a sports car. I know it's a well-praised, well-loved car, but not by me. And so when people go to look for their photos, they have to go look in the same way that I do. Which photos, which pictures really excite them? Which are the ones that you can't stop looking at? You look at it and you go, oh, I can see myself there, or I want to see myself there. Which one has the emotional charge of joy that says I can actually mentally already get in that photo? Those are the kind of wealth images that I want in my life and what I look for and what I encourage other people to look for.
Absolutely. And remember, you can use personal photos as well. You know, like one of the recommendations I do for people that are doing a My Movie maybe about their marriage or their current relationship, especially if it's a marriage, like, you know, can you imagine adding in photos from your wedding? And photos of times in your life where you were having this amazing time where you were completely in love and so into each other, and reminding yourself of those emotional times through, well, now not just through photos but through the videos as well. Can you imagine adding, you know, a snippet of the video of you, you know, saying your vows to your partner? Like, how amazing would that be? And it really helps to, you know, incite that emotion. Or, you know, if you're looking at, you know, creating a loving relationship, a new relationship, you know, what does that mean to you? It's like when we're talking about wealth, when you're visualizing, you're not visualizing a pile of cash, because that doesn't invoke, that's just an innate object that doesn't invoke any kind of emotion. But it's like when you see what you can do with the money and how you can use the money and what it means to you, then it's different. It's the same in a loving relationship. You know, when you visualize, you're not specifically, you know, visualizing a person standing there like a cardboard cutout. You're visualizing what it is that you're doing together. You know, the romantic walks at sunset on the beach, or the holidays that you're doing, or the friendships that you have outside of your relationship, and things that you do, and how you fit into that social circle with your partner. Like, different things like this is that you want to think about. So when you're thinking of the photos that you want to add, they represent those things. You know, like, for example, even with health, you know, again, now with the addition of video, if you you know, earlier in life you were running marathons or doing races, or, you know, playing competitive sport, and you have a video of you doing that, maybe kicking a goal or running across the finish line, you could add that into your mind movie now, and it will take you straight back to that feeling of winning or accomplishment. You know, and maybe for you, it's like, you know, I want to get my health back and my vitality and energy back so I can play with my kids and not be puffed. Or, you know, maybe, and another really good example of how you could use this as well is, let's just say there's one thing like this hill, you know, Heartbreak Hill, or is a certain set of stairs that you want to run to get to the top to without being puffed. Add a photo of that hill or those stairs. So it reminds you that, yes, I'm going to be able, I am running to the top of those stairs. You see yourself doing that, and it really puts you into that picture and that visualization. So, you know, using the video as in the software like that is going to be exceptionally powerful. So think about those types of things as well. So not just what we have inside the platform, but also think about some of the videos that you have, and different times of your life, or personal things that you can add there as well, which I think is really important. One of the really exciting things about the addition of video, and I haven't experimented with this yet because we've been pretty busy with the release of 4.0, but I am going to be reading some of my affirmations, and I'm going to be reading my intention statement for 2015 into a video camera, and I'm going to say it with such conviction and such resolve that I am basically telling myself that this is going to happen no matter what. Now, the way that you can insert your own personal videos into the My Movie software is that, and I didn't go into it in the video demo because I'm thinking I don't want to overload you with everything, but these are some of the things that we're able to do now. When you can upload a personal video to YouTube, you can actually import it from YouTube into the My Movie software. Now, when you do that, you have the option of having the music play over the top of your video. You can choose the duration of how long you want the video to play, or you can just have the audio that you've recorded with the video playing there as well. So, so it's very exciting having that new addition and that new feature with that as well. So Joe, how have you used My Movies in the past? Like, what are some of the ways that you've used My Movies to really help you, you know, get into this visualization and help elicit the law of attraction?
Well, I think the easiest thing that comes to mind is in the area of health. I decided, I don't know how many years ago, that I really wanted to get in shape for myself. And this is after a lifetime of struggling with being overweight and being unhealthy and being lucky and making it as far as I had. And so what I did was, first of all, looking for the images that I wanted to look like. And in my case, I found an image of Steve Reeves, and you may not know who he was, but he was the first Hercules. He was one of the classic physique bodybuilders, world champion, Mr. Universe, and blah, blah, blah. And I ended up finding more photos, and I even took one of those photos, and I put my face on that photo. So I took a Steve Reeves photo at his classic physique prime, and I put Joe's face on there so that I can begin to visualize myself in that kind of physique. Now, as these things go, I'm doing the affirmations about being joyously fit, celebrating my health, being a person with this inner confidence that is almost impossible not to achieve my wildest dreams because of that feeling of strength within, not just muscle strength, but the strength within myself, that inner core of confidence. And then things started to come together, which is the magic of mind movies. You start setting up your affirmations, you start setting up your visualizations, and you're programming your mind. You're sending these signals into your mind. Then your mind starts to orchestrate with the world. And one of the things that happened to me was 2.5 years ago, I ended up, through a coincidence, finding Bill Phillips, who was the Body for Life champion 10, 12 years ago. And I've always knew who he was. I always admired him. I was actually in his Body for Life contest a decade or so past. Well, I ended up training with this guy. He's my personal trainer. I've trained with Bill Phillips. I've gone to his gym 4 different times. I've trained with his wife. I have my own gym in the back of my place now. I am in there on a religious basis. I turn myself on touching my muscles because they're so big and strong now. And I feel younger and healthier and stronger and happier than I've ever been. And I'm past 61 now, working on 62 years old. And all of this from working within mind movies and setting up the affirmation about being I am strong and fit and powerful, and having the visualization, including finding Steve Reeves' picture, which is the one that kick-started it for me. And then, of course, doing that on a regular basis to reprogram my mind. And then, of course, the universe kind of dances into the picture at some point by orchestrating me to be with Bill Phillips, which seems like a miracle to me. And the fact that I'm working with him, I know what to do now in the gym, and I go and do it. Lost weight, gained muscle, feel fantastic, and I can go on, but that's just one example.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, we actually have a few questions coming in that I might quickly answer about how long should our mind movie be. For me, I recommend about 2 to 3 minutes. I think that if it goes much longer than that, you start to kind of lose a bit of interest. It gets a little bit long. It gets laborious. Remember, the reason we want to keep it nice and short and sharp and succinct, because we want to make it fun. You know, I know with the feedback that I've got from people who've created vision boards in the past is that, you know, they'll have the vision board there, but it's not like it's a bit of a chore. It's hard for them to sit down and go, oh, I have to visualize. But with a mind movie, it makes it fun. So 2 to 3 minutes, about 20 to 25 affirmations. Now, the other question I have got coming in is like, how long are the slides up in the mind movie? And you know, for me, I think the default is about 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, but that is completely is changeable. You can do what you want. Now, I know that we're talking about a lot of different, features that we have inside the software, and I don't want you to at all feel overwhelmed with this, because this is what I recommend. Obviously, I recommend that you take advantage of the My Movies 4.0 offer if you haven't done so already. So you can use the order form that's below this video, and that will give you the special offer for My Movies, but with that added bonus of getting on the Get Started training with me. So you actually watch me. It'll be a format like this. I'll be going through the process of making a mind movie, all the little tips and shortcuts and things that I use when I'm creating my mind movie. You'll be able to do that and do your mind movie at the same time. So at the end of the training, you'll have your mind movie completed. Now, you may have a basic version of your mind movie completed, but you've got something done. and that's really important. And then when you start to watch your My Movie, then you'll go, maybe I might have this play a little bit longer, or I might switch this photo out for something else. Then you can always go back in and edit your My Movie. But the trick is to get it done first and get it up and running first, to start watching it, start getting you into that vibrational match of that reality, and start having things start to fall into place for you. Then you can start to get a little bit more artistic or whatever first. But the trick is to get it done first. So make sure that you use the order form that's below this video. So if you're watching this Hangout, that gives you the ability to take advantage of that special offer. So it's with all the $1,000 worth of bonuses, the special price that we've got for My Movies 4.0, and that extra special training as well. And as I go through the training, I'll go through all of those different features and all the reasons why and why not to be able to use those features, and why you'd include in your My Movie or not. And also give you some fantastic ideas on how to use your photos and video and all the other awesome stuff that we have in there as well. Okay, why don't we go to the music, because I know a few questions are coming in about the Subliminal. So we might start talking about the music first, how important music is. Now, Joe, I might get you to start off this conversation, because being the musician that you are, I'm sure that you understand completely how important it is to have the right music attached to the visualization or the My Movie that you create.
Well, I totally agree, because the music is going to create an emotion. It's going to create a mood. It's going to actually put your mind into a subjective state and a receptive state. So you want to make sure you have the music that's really going to make a difference for you. So I would go ahead and talk about the music that you have in My Movies, but I'm just agreeing that it is very important.
Right. So again, what we've done, as I was saying before, the music that we've put inside the My Movies platform was all royalty-free. So when you go inside, we have, the different categories, and of course, we have a lot of our friends have donated music that have allowed us to give it to you so that you can connect it with your My Movie and use it, and use it positively for that. And a lot of these artists have very positive lyrics to their songs. So we have people like Mr. Joe Vitale, who has donated quite a few songs in there for us. Bob Doyle, as a lot of you know, Bob is a friend of ours, has donated his music. Rika Zimmerman, I don't know if you are familiar with Rika, but she's got a real Colby Calais kind of sound to her, and some amazing songs in there as well. We have Paul Hoffman from Success Songs. He's got some great ones like, I've Got a Millionaire Mind, and and songs that have got really positive lyrics and are quite upbeat. And then we also have someone like Jim Oliver, who's given us a whole library of music, which is healing music. It's very like synthesizer type style of music, very ethereal, but it is specifically designed for healing. So if you're creating a health a My Movie, then I really recommend that you check out that music there as well. So the other thing that we want to talk is the style of music that you want with your My Movie. Now for me, if I'm doing a health and fitness My Movie, I always have something up-tempo. It's always got to have a really fast beat and really get me going, and really raise my vibration so that when I get to the gym, I'm already pumped and ready to go. So my most recent song on my health My Movie is Happy by Pharrell, which I think is a very popular song for a lot of people with their My Movie, because it's just perfect, But a song that I use, for most of my, projects, or my yearly My Movies, Coldplay is a big one for me. It was one of my favorite bands, and they have. So for me, it's all about the lyrics. I want something that's going to be positive and elicit an emotion as well. And I know that with Coldplay, they've got some really interesting and very I wouldn't say intelligent, but really emotion-fueled lyrics. Like in one of their songs, they have this line that I love, and it's about living life as a comma and not a full stop. Now, a full stop is like a period in the US. So I'm living my life as a comma, not a full stop. So it's like I may be at this age and I may be at this point, but I'm just pausing and I'm ready to keep going because that's not the end. So, choosing music like that is really important. What are some of the styles of music that you like to use, Joe? What are some of the things that you like?
Well, it depends on what I'm doing it for. When I'm working out, I do high-intensity cardio training as well as strength training. So if I'm doing the high-intensity interval training on the cardio, I've got to have music that's got some pump to it. It's got to have a fast beat. It's got to have a drum that is almost like a heartbeat that is moving my heart to move even faster than what it might have been. I can't listen to relaxing music during the workout. I can't listen to lullaby music, new agey music, instrumental music, because it's not going to give me that jump start to make me run, to make me really move, which is what I'm doing when I'm working out. Now, by the same token, if I'm relaxing and I really want to get into a visual experience of maybe driving the next car or being on a trip or doing something with wealth, I want music that doesn't even have lyrics to it, because the lyrics could distract me. I want my mind to be focused on the visuals I'm looking at. And when it comes to music that has lyrics in it, one of the things I get on a soapbox about is I tell people you have to be acutely aware of the music you listen to. When people say I can't always get what I want, I say you can blame the Rolling Stones, because back in 1969 they told all of us you can't always get what you want. And we love that song and we repeat that song, and almost nobody is listening to what it's programming in people. And so when it comes to music that has lyrics, and this is one of the reasons I'm a singer-songwriter, I want to write positive lyrics. I want the positive lyrics to reinforce my dreams and my mind movies and my desires. I don't want any limitations. I don't want any negativity at all. So I listen to a lot of music, but it depends on what I want it for, whether working out, relaxing, an active visualization, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's exactly right. And the thing is, we've been doing a lot of work with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and we work with the participants at some of his advanced workshops, and we do little mini workshops there so that we help them create their own personal mind movie, which Joe uses in his events, and then we brain map people and as what's happening physiologically in their brain while they're watching their mind movie and visualizing. It's incredible the amount of things that we've been able to measure. And if you've been watching the videos that have come out this week, we've actually, some of those results are in the video that I recorded with Dr. Joe Dispenza. So make sure you check that out at a later time. But what was interesting is that we'll have a room full of people and we're helping them create their mind movies, and everyone is different. Like there are some people that use classical music with their mind movie. There's some people that use, there was one person that used a theme from a Disney movie. I remember, because I was thinking, wow, this is actually a really good song. But the thing is, it's personal. It's personal. It's whatever speaks to you, whatever blows your hair back and makes your heart sing. That is what you want. It needs to be something that really resonates with you, because that's just going to powerfully increase the effectiveness of your mind movie. And with that video that we did with Dr. Joe, he talked about the associative memory. And so when a particular song may come on the radio when you're driving the car that reminds you of a time in your life where you were blissfully happy and in love and everything was amazing, it instantly takes you back to those emotions and those feelings. Now, the right song attached to your mind movie can do the same thing, that when you're driving along in the car, if the song that you've used comes on the radio, you can start visualizing and putting yourself inside that future in your mind, even while your eyes are open and you're driving the car, because your subconscious mind will just start to play that, because that song is a trigger or an anchor for you. So it's really powerful that you do that. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on as well here is the addition of subliminal. A lot of people are talking about, well, tell us about these subliminal tracks. What are they? How do they work? This is so exciting, because especially for those of you who know about Mind Movies Matrix and how we've combined the subliminal with those pre-mades, well, now you have the ability to add a subliminal track to your personal mind movie, so your specific dreams that you want to create. Now, the themes of the subliminal tracks include things like achieve ultimate success, your perfect partner, creating a wealthy mindset, endless happiness, healthy habits. So here is the optimal way to use those subliminal tracks. Now, like I said, they sound like white noise or like a little hum. So you can't audibly hear the hundreds of thousands of affirmations that are in those tracks, but they're in there. And so when you attach that to your mind movie, it just is it's played very faintly, and you actually can't hear that. But the subconscious mind is absorbing those affirmations as you're watching your mind movie. They're going straight into the subconscious mind. Now, you want to make sure that when you choose a subliminal track, it is the same theme as your mind movie. So if you've got a mind movie, make sure that you use the creating a wealthy mindset or a subliminal track. If you're looking for love, make sure that you use the perfect partner subliminal track. So make sure it's the same theme, so that the affirmations that you're subconsciously hearing are in alignment with the affirmations and the pictures that you've put together. So have you had much, what's some of your experience that you've had with like subliminal tracks, Joe?
Well, I have a lot of experience with them. I've come out with 5 different albums of music with Matthew Dixon that is nothing but subliminal music. In other words, we've created all the music, but we put subliminals under all of them. Because of my work in hypnosis and using neuroscience, I know that there's 6 decades of research that show that subliminals work. So in other words, your conscious mind sometimes, depending on who's making the subliminal music, sometimes will hear a whisper, but only after repeated use. The way it's set up with subliminals is that it's to go into your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind doesn't need to hear it, and even if it does hear it, it doesn't make that big of an impact. It's the subconscious mind that the subliminals are working on. And as I say, there's 50 to 60 years worth of research and a lot of recent studies that are showing that subliminals actually are powerful, and they're effective, and they're efficient. They're affirmations that are going right into your subconscious mind. There's no interference from the conscious mind. There's nothing blocking them. So the very things you want to focus on and visualize and affirm, they're actually going into the source where you want them to go. So subliminals are powerful. Lots of experience and love them.
Yeah. So just to be really clear, everyone, My Movies Matrix is a completely separate product. It's got nothing to do with My Movies. It's just that for the first time now, you can add a subliminal track inside the software to your personal My Movie, which is part of the upgrades for 4.0. So My Movies Matrix, don't worry about that. It's a completely different product. We're just focusing on My Movies and the access to that software for now. Now, another question that's come through is like, well, how do I know, how many times do I have to watch my My Movie, or how do I know that I've watched it enough times for that now I can go on to something else? Just have to look at the results that you have in your life. If you're created, a My Movie around wealth, and you haven't quite got the wealth that you're looking for or that you're aiming for, then you want to keep working towards that goal. So just look at the results and what's happening around you and the reality that's being created around you. And if it's a match to the My Movie that you've created, then it's time for you to start creating some more. And you'll find that as you create your My Movies and you're watching them, some things will start to manifest and come to fruition for you, and then others haven't. Again, this is the reason why it's so easy to go in and edit your My Movie. So you'll take the ones that you've already achieved, take them out, put something new in, and away you go. It's like you've got a brand new My Movie without having to create a whole new one from scratch. Now, the last subject I wanted to cover, Joe, before we let you go and before we move on is how to surrender control to the universe. Like, I know that we can do all the conscious things, like we can be in a positive vibration, we can set an intention, we can visualize with emotion, take action. But, I think one important part of this whole process is surrendering to the universe for it to step in and do its job. So how do you do that?
Well, I am a very productive guy. I am a very take action oriented guy. I've written 50-some books. I've got, I think, 10 to 13 albums done. I've got all kind of DVDs. I have courses, blah, blah, blah. I get things done, but there's an underlying surrender to all of it. A lot of people, when they think of letting go and they think of surrender, they think they're not to do anything. They think that they're just going to roll over and stuff will happen to them or for them. And the better way of looking at this is to look at it from a psychological standpoint. You release your addiction to the way things could work out. You release your attachment to the way things could work out. And you have a sense of trust and a sense of faith that they will work out. So you have an underlying confidence that your subconscious mind, working with the universe itself, is going to orchestrate the manifestation of your miracle. So there's no worry there. There's no stress there. And at the same time, you have a co-creation part to do here. Meaning that when you feel the inspired nudge, I call it an inspired action, when you feel from within an inspired action to make a purchase, to open a business, to attend a seminar, to read a book, it's different for each person. But when you feel that inspired action, your job is to act. So surrender doesn't mean give up. Surrender doesn't mean don't do anything. Surrender means giving away your worry, your fear, your stress, and your strain. And what you come from is a sense of faith and trust while taking action. The small baby steps that I call inspired action. Doesn't have to be overwhelming action. Doesn't have to be anything you don't want to do. It should be some joyous action. But it's that sense of taking action while letting go of how you think it needs to play out will bring about the manifestation of these things that you're putting in mind movies.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a personal, recent personal experience of this, because and some of you may know, we've touched a little bit on the project I'm doing in Colombia, and I actually was to cut a long story short, shortish. I've been connected with a university in Medellin. And Medellin used to be the most violent city in the world, because that's where all the cartels were operating out of. And now it is the most progressive city. And so they're already in a vibration or an energy of, creating infrastructure and turning life around and being more positive. And so when a friend of mine who was in Medellin was talking to the dean of this university, mentioned My Movies for Kids, he's like, oh my God, we need to have this in our schools. And I was on a phone call with Mario, who's the dean of the university, my friend and me, and we were talking about, My Movies for Children, and they're doing the translation for me so that children can use it in the classroom. And he said, look, can you also create a curriculum for us? I'm like, sure, okay. And I said, how old are the children? He said, between 6 and 12. I'm like, okay. And I said, how many lessons did you want? He goes, we'd like 12 lessons. He said, oh, can you also put something in there for the parents so that we can introduce these principles to the families? I'm like, sure, I could do that. And then I said, so when would you like this? And he said, if we could have it in 2.5 weeks, that way we'd have it ready to train the teachers. I'm like, sure, no problem. So then I hang up the phone and go, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I'm like, I have no idea how to do this. I don't even know where to start. Because, yes, I know about My Movies and visualization, but I'm like 6 to 12-year-olds. I don't have children myself. I'm like, I don't even know how to do this. And I remember ringing a girlfriend of mine and freaking out going, I said yes, and I don't know what I'm doing. And she goes, Natalie, she goes, you need to relax. She goes, you know how to manifest these things to make this happen, and you are a pro at it. So just relax into it and you'll be fine. And so sometimes you kind of need that reminder. So, for me, I have this little mantra that says everything will always work out for me. Because what that does is it releases my stress or that fear or the anxiousness, because as soon as we get into that lower vibration, it's like we're pinching off the flow of things coming to us from the universe. So I always go through that mantra. The second thing is I always make sure that before I start working on a project like this, I sit in the vibration or the energy of it already being done, in that visualization. So, I can see myself in the classroom in Colombia, and the children coming up and they're all happy, and the teachers are crying and telling me how much the information has even changed their lives, and talking to the families. And so I can see it already happening, and then I get, sit in the 10,000 children is our commitment. We were going to reach 10,000 children in 2015, and that's not just a drop of change. That's a ripple. That's a tsunami of change. That changes generations. So I sit in all of that. So I make sure that I do that as well. And then I go, you know what? And I'm going to create this or something better. Because I release to release and go, you know what? And it's like you said, and surrender doesn't mean, oh my God, hands on heads, this is no good. It's like, I know that everything will work out. I'm going to sit in that and release that and just go, this or something better will happen. And basically what happened is that I had a friend, my copywriter, I asked him to help me flesh out the words on the lessons, and he said to me, he said, look, we have a secret weapon. He said, my wife is a teacher and she specializes in early age curriculum.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, that's exactly what I need right now. This is fantastic. So things like that, like, and this we've been working with this guy for months. I had no idea that this is what his wife did. So when you can do that, when you can let go and surrender like that, it is amazing how things like this, like things that you couldn't have planned for, will fall into place for you to make that happen.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. So Joe, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to answer a few more questions of people that are here on the Hangout. So if you're still here and you have some more questions, make sure you keep sending them through, because I'm going to do my best to answer them. But I want to thank you so much, Joe, for joining me today and for helping us with all of your amazing wisdom and information. Is there anything that you'd like to leave us with today before you go?
Well, first of all, thank you and congratulations on My Movies 4.0. That's a major accomplishment. You're doing great things. You're making a difference in the world. As for everybody else, I say expect miracles. Go for your dreams. Be fearless about going for what's in your heart. Follow your passion, because that's really the secret to uncovering what you really want. And then use a tool like My Movies to help speed it up so you can have, do, or be whatever you imagine. Godspeed to you. Bye-bye.
I've said it better. Thanks, Joe. Great, guys. All right, well, let me just go through a few more of the questions that are coming through, because there's a lot that have been coming through, and I want to try and make sure that they stay on long enough to answer as many as I can. Okay. Let's see. Wow. Okay, hold on. There is heaps here. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm not going to talk any more about My Movies Matrix, because, like I said before, it's a separate product. It's got nothing to do with My Movies. It's pre-made. It's a different program, and really what we're talking about today is the beauty of My Movies 4.0 is that you can get to be very specific about what it is that you want and be able to put that in a movie format that's going to help you put yourself in that visualization. So remember, guys, that if you you've seen the order form below. If you cannot see that order form, but I'm hoping that you can see by now, just refresh your page and then it will show up for you. This is the amazing release of My Movies 4.0. We've got an extra special, amazing added bonus for the people that take advantage through this order form, that are here on that are watching this Hangout. You'll have a very special get started training where I'm going to take you through like everything. And like I said, I have little tricks that I use that actually helps me create a mind movie in a very short period of time. I do it in less than 30 minutes these days. And of course, what makes it even easier now, like before 4.0, I'd have to be scrolling through all the photos to try and find the one that was right for me. But now that we have that search feature with the pictures now, so you can actually search for specifically what it is that you're looking for, it's going to make it even faster, which is like, yes. See, we're trying to make things as easy as possible for here at My Movie. So it's all about serving you in a way that's going to make things easy for you and help to create this amazing life for yourself. Okay, so one of the questions I just got through is, can I make a My Movie for my kids? They are 5 years old and under. You know what? Here's the thing that I recommend if you're going to be doing this process with your children or with a spouse, or another way that you can do this is like with a team at work. You want to make it an inclusive. You want to make it a fully inclusive activity. So, especially with children, you'd go through and go, okay, well, what are some of the things that we want to work towards together, and have that conversation. And I tell you what makes the whole making of a My Movie process like a gazillion times faster is to have your affirmations written out before you sit down to start using the software. I find for me, when I have them written out and I know exactly which one's coming next, I have them sorted out in the order on my page. So I've already done that. So when I sit down to the software, I've already even got in my mind the kind of picture that I know will actually match that affirmation. So go through with your children, and you know, and of course with kids, it could be something as simple as, you know, earning some pocket money or cleaning their room. But you know, you don't want to put something in a My Movie and not have them included in that, because if you have in the My Movie, I want my kids to clean their room, that's not necessarily going to help them do that. But if they agree and they see, and you get them invested in that decision to clean their room and to do their chores or whatever that is, and you know, and also include like some activities you can do as a family. You know, maybe set a goal that you can do as a family, maybe working towards, you know, buying a holiday or purchasing a holiday together, and, you know, get them excited about the holiday, get them thinking about what it's going to be like when they're on the beach in Fiji, and the things that they can do there, and help them, you know, do some research and stuff, and talk about the things that you can do, and really get them invested in that, which will give them motivation to want to do whatever it takes to get that holiday happening. So yes, you can, but make it a very inclusive exercise, so that they buy into that as well, and they can see it in their mind too. Okay, so someone also asked, what's the difference between an affirmation and an intention? That's a good question. So your affirmations are really what's describing your goal. They're the ones they're the things that are making very clear about what it is you want, and they are comprehensively describing, you know, what it is that specifically that you want. Your intention statement, for me, it's a statement that says, well, this is my intention. This is the big picture of what I want to achieve, but my affirmations go into more detail. So one of my recent intention affirmations is how, you know, I want to create a safe and transformational space for women to step into the more unique and delicious version of themselves, to remember who they are and discover the gifts that they have to give to the world. So that is an intention of the work that I want to do with women. And then when I go into my affirmations, I go into a whole lot, you know, more specifically, you know, what that looks like, what life's going to be like when I'm, you know, when I have this group and I'm helping these women, why I'm doing it, how I need to think differently, how I need to step up myself to be this leader, and to step more into my feminine, and the things that I need to change to be this leader, and then also the actions that I'm taking to get that to happen. So that's the difference between your intention and your affirmations. Okay, well, guys, I think the questions are slowing down a little bit, so I think we're good for today. I want to thank all of you for giving up part of your Saturday to come on to the Hangout and to join Joe and myself and to really, you know, absorb this information. When you make such a commitment like this, and you really go that extra effort and put in this, you know, the extra miles to be able to really, you know, learn what it is that you have to do to be able to take your life to the next level, or to create an amazing life for yourself where you're feeling so bliss and so much joy and so much happiness that you are at this amazing example for everyone else around you, then I really commend you for doing that. You know, not a lot of people will put this extra effort in, but you have, you know, and so I want to thank you so much for that. And remember that, you know, I'm looking forward to having you on this Getting Started training workshop with me, so I can actually go through the whole process with you and make it so easy. Like, I know that sometimes when you look at software like this, you're thinking, oh, it looks a little bit difficult, but I really want to make the process so easy for you that it's an hour of your time, and you've created your mind movie. You've got something you can start with, and start to really become that vibrational match, and really, you know, create this amazing future for yourself. So don't forget, use the order form below, that's below this video, so that you can not only get that Get Started training, but you get that $1,000 worth of bonuses as well, so that you can really start to make 2015 like just the most mind-blowingly, successfully, and outrageously wealthy and financially freedom year of your life, which will set up the foundation for amazing things to come. I'm really looking forward to not only working with you on that workshop, but also to be hearing your success stories and how My Movies is working for you. because that's really the juice that keeps me going as well. And we've had so many amazing testimonials and stories come through the My Movies platform as well. Again, thank you for all of the comments that you've been leaving on the Facebook pages with the videos. I really enjoyed putting those videos together, and that whole process of Glenn and I telling the warts and all story of the My Movies My Movie story, which is it wasn't all just an easy road, but it was well and truly worth it. So thank you again, everyone. Thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. And make sure that you keep in touch. Send me your success stories. I can't wait to hear them. And bye for now, and have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.